Have you ever been told to stay away from rice at all costs if you have diabetes? Maybe you've even said it yourself, rice? Oh no, that's just sugar waiting to happen. And let's be honest, it's hard to argue when everything online keeps warning you that rice will spike your blood sugar, crash your energy, and mess with your insulin. So, maybe you gave it up, even though a warm bowl of rice used to bring you so much comfort. But what if I, as a doctor, told you that not all rice is the enemy? In fact, some incredibly common kinds of rice, ones you probably already have sitting in your pantry, are quietly helping people over 50 manage their diabetes better, feel more energized, and even reduce those daily aches and pains that make mornings harder than they should be. Yes, I'm serious. And no, you don't have to buy expensive ingredients or follow some trendy diet to feel the difference. So, before you scroll away or give up on rice forever, stay with me until the very end of this video. Because I'm going to show you 3 types of rice that are surprising even the most skeptical doctors. You'll learn how these simple grains can help support diabetes management naturally over 50 and how to use them in your own kitchen without fear, frustration, or guilt. Important note, the information in this video is intended for inspiration and reference only. Do not use this content to diagnose, treat, or replace advice from a qualified doctor or healthcare professional. If you live with diabetes, always work closely with a trusted doctor or healthcare provider to receive proper care. And hey, don't forget to hit like, drop a quick comment, and subscribe so you never miss out on tips that could truly change the way you live with diabetes. Because when you get to the end of this video, not only will you know which rice is secretly helping people just like you, you'll finally understand how to enjoy food again without putting your health at risk. Don't miss out on this one. 1. Wild rice. Wild rice doesn't look like the rice you're used to. It's darker, longer, and almost a little mysterious looking. Maybe you've passed it in the grocery store thinking, that looks too fancy for me, or isn't that just birdseed? But here's the truth. If you're living with diabetes and over 50, wild rice could be the most powerful grain you're not eating yet. Wild rice doesn't just look different, it acts different inside your body, especially if you're living with type 2 diabetes over the age of 50. While most people still fear all types of rice, thinking they're just sugar bombs in disguise, wild rice is one of the few grains that actually works with your body, not against it. Unlike white rice or even most brown rice blends, wild rice has a much lower glycemic index and is packed with dietary fiber and antioxidants that help slow down how sugar enters your bloodstream. You're less likely to get those blood sugar spikes that leave you feeling tired, dizzy, or guilty after a meal. Instead, you stay balanced, fueled, and focused. But what really makes wild rice special is how it helps fight one of the silent drivers of chronic illness, inflammation. If your hands feel stiff in the morning, if you've got nagging knee pain, or a sore back that won't quit, those are signs your body may be inflamed. And guess what? That inflammation can also mess with your insulin, making it harder for your cells to use sugar the way they're supposed to. A study from the University of Manitoba found something incredible. Wild rice improved insulin sensitivity and reduced inflammation markers in older adults. That's not just good news, because if a simple bowl of rice can help your body do what it's meant to do, process sugar, reduce pain, and restore balance, why not give it a real shot? Plus, wild rice is naturally gluten-free, low in fat, and full of magnesium, which many older adults lack. Magnesium supports heart health, nerve function, and even better sleep. 3 things we all need more of, especially in our 50s and beyond. And let's be honest, it feels good to eat something that's not just allowed, but actually helps. You're not cheating, you're choosing smarter. With wild rice, you're feeding your body what it's been quietly asking for all along, something warm, grounding, and naturally healing. How to cook wild rice for comfort and digestion. Now let's talk about something practical. How do you actually cook wild rice in a way that's simple, comforting, and good for your digestion? Because let's be real, nobody wants to add more confusion to their kitchen, especially when dealing with diabetes. But the good news is, wild rice is not only easy to prepare, it also works wonders for your stomach when cooked the right way. It all starts with the liquid. Instead of using plain water, try cooking wild rice with low-sodium vegetable broth. This one small change adds a ton of flavor without adding any sugar, salt, or fat. In fact, many people say they enjoy wild rice even more when it's cooked this way. It becomes richer, deeper, and way more satisfying. Here's how to do it. Take 1 cup of wild rice and rinse it gently under cold water using a strainer. Then, in a medium-sized pot, pour in 3 cups of low-sodium vegetable broth. Bring it to a boil, then stir in the rinsed wild rice. Once it's bubbling, reduce the heat to low, cover the pot with the lid slightly tilted so a little steam can escape, and let it simmer for about 45 to 50 minutes. You'll know it's done when the grains split open slightly and become tender, but still have a little chew. That texture is key. It means the rice is slowly digested, which helps keep your blood sugar levels steady instead of spiking and crashing. Now comes the fun part, how to make it a full, nourishing meal. One of the easiest, most senior-friendly meals you can make with wild rice is a warm, cozy bowl that feels like a hug from the inside out. After cooking your wild rice, shred up some rotisserie chicken or cooked chicken breast, something soft and easy to chew. In a pan, lightly sauté some sliced carrots in a little olive oil or low-sodium broth until they're tender. Add in a small splash of coconut milk for creaminess, and then mix everything together. Rice, chicken, carrots, and that soothing coconut sauce. It's simple, deeply satisfying, and won't weigh you down. And here's something people over 50 especially love. This meal doesn't cause bloating or heaviness afterward. Wild rice, when cooked properly and paired with gentle ingredients like carrots and lean chicken, actually supports digestion. It's full of fiber that works slowly through your system, keeping things moving without urgency, discomfort, or gas. So instead of feeling sleepy or uneasy after dinner, you'll feel full, balanced, and calm. And if you're someone who often feels bloated or uncomfortable after meals, adding wild rice could truly change how your evenings feel. You don't need fancy equipment or exotic ingredients, just 1 pot, a little broth, and 45 quiet minutes on the stove. What you get in return is a meal that not only supports your blood sugar naturally but also gives your gut a gentle break, something most seniors deeply appreciate. You can store any leftovers in the fridge for up to 5 days and simply reheat with a splash of broth to bring it back to life. It's perfect for dinner, a light lunch, or even a comforting breakfast if you're craving something savory in the morning. The beauty of this routine is that it's not just about eating, it's about caring for yourself in small, loving ways. Wild rice isn't here to fix everything overnight, but it's a quiet, reliable partner that supports your journey. And once you get used to how good it feels in your body, it becomes something you look forward to. Not a diet rule, not a punishment, just real food that makes you feel better. 2. Brown rice. While many people still reach for white rice out of habit, it's that outer layer, the part that gets stripped away in white rice, that actually holds the power. Brown rice keeps that outer bran layer intact, which means it's packed with fiber, magnesium, B vitamins, and antioxidants that work together to support your metabolism, digestion, and blood sugar stability over the long term. Here's why that matters. When you eat refined carbs like white rice, they break down quickly and cause your blood sugar to spike, then crash. You might feel jittery, foggy, or sleepy just an hour after eating. But brown rice digests more slowly, giving your body a steady source of fuel instead of dumping it all at once. That gentle release of energy helps prevent the highs and lows that wear you out physically and mentally. In his groundbreaking work, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, a physician specializing in nutrition, explains that brown rice can play a key role in long-term blood sugar control when it's part of a nutrient-rich, plant-forward diet. He emphasizes that the fiber in brown rice helps reduce the glycemic load of meals, which can improve insulin function and reduce the risk of complications over time. That's a big deal because when you're managing diabetes, small choices made consistently are what build a strong foundation for your health. Brown rice also supports your digestive system in ways most people don't expect. It can ease constipation, reduce bloating, and help your gut process food more efficiently, all without harsh pills or uncomfortable side effects. And for people over 50, especially those dealing with slow digestion or gut sensitivity, that's more than helpful. At the end of the day, brown rice isn't flashy or trendy, but it's solid. It's steady, and sometimes that's exactly what your body needs. Something reliable that shows up for you day after day and helps you keep going with more comfort, more clarity, and more strength than before. More on cooking brown rice. Cooking brown rice may take a little more time than white rice, but the payoff is absolutely worth it, especially if you're living with diabetes and want a meal that supports your blood sugar without leaving you bloated or tired. The key to making brown rice not just healthy but also enjoyable is in how you cook it and what you pair it with. And don't worry, you don't need to be a chef or buy fancy ingredients. You just need a pot, a little patience, and a few thoughtful touches. First, let's start with the basics. Brown rice has a tougher outer layer than white rice, so it needs more water and more time. Begin by rinsing 1 cup of brown rice under cold water to wash away any dust or excess starch. Then bring 2½ cups of water, or even better, a low-sodium chicken broth or vegetable broth, to a boil in a medium pot. Once it's boiling, add the rice and a bay leaf. That bay leaf may seem like a small thing, but trust me, it adds a subtle warmth and aroma that makes brown rice feel more like comfort food. After you stir the rice in, reduce the heat to low, cover the pot, and let it simmer gently for about 40 to 45 minutes. Try not to peak too much. Every time you lift the lid, you lose steam, and that means longer cooking time. When it's ready, the rice should be tender but still slightly chewy, with a nutty smell and a rich texture. Remove the bay leaf, fluff the rice with a fork, and just like that, you've got a base you can use for almost any meal. But here's something many people over 50 never consider. Brown rice isn't just for lunch or dinner. It can also make a warm, blood sugar-friendly breakfast that feels like a cozy bowl of oatmeal, only with more fiber and better blood sugar control. It's a favorite for people who want to feel full, focused, and satisfied well into the morning. To make it, just take a scoop of your cooked brown rice and reheat it gently in a small pot with a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Stir in half a ripe banana, sliced thin, and a generous sprinkle of ground cinnamon. Let everything warm up slowly, stirring until the banana melts slightly and the mixture becomes soft and porridge-like. That's it. It's warm, it's naturally sweet, and it doesn't mess with your sugar levels. The cinnamon helps stabilize blood glucose, the banana adds gentle sweetness without processed sugar, and the almond milk makes it creamy without dairy. If you're used to skipping breakfast or grabbing something sugary because it's quick, this simple bowl might change your mornings completely. You can even make a big batch of brown rice on Sunday, store it in the fridge, and scoop from it all week long. That way, breakfast is just 2 steps away, even on slow or stiff mornings. Many seniors say that starting their day with a meal like this helps them feel steadier, less hungry between meals, and more in control of their cravings. Plus, it supports digestion gently, so your belly feels settled instead of bloated. Eating well doesn't have to be complicated, and brown rice is a perfect example of that. When you take the time to cook it with intention, to use broth instead of plain water, to add a bay leaf, to turn it into breakfast, you're not just feeding your body, you're caring for it. And over time, those little decisions add up to something powerful. Brown rice doesn't shout, it doesn't promise miracles, but it shows up meal after meal, doing what your body needs most, offering balance, comfort, and steady support that you can actually feel. 3. Basmati rice. Basmati rice might look like just another white rice, but don't be fooled. It's in a class of its own. Grown for centuries in the foothills of India and Pakistan, this long-grain rice isn't just famous for its fragrant aroma and fluffy texture, it's quietly becoming one of the smartest choices for people over 50 who are trying to manage type 2 diabetes naturally and comfortably. Here's what makes basmati rice so different. While most white rices have a high glycemic index, meaning they spike your blood sugar fast, basmati rice stays low on that scale. Depending on how it's cooked, its glycemic index ranges from 50 to 58, making it one of the lowest among all white rices. That lower GI means your body digests it more slowly, keeping your blood sugar steadier and helping you avoid those sudden crashes that leave you feeling drained or shaky. A big reason basmati rice digests so gently is because of its high amylase content, about 28%. Amylase is a type of starch that takes longer to break down, and that's a good thing when you're managing diabetes. It helps release glucose into your bloodstream at a more controlled pace, which supports better insulin response and energy balance throughout the day. Think of it as giving your body a slow, steady fuel source instead of lighting a match. And there's more. Basmati rice is naturally very low in sodium, with less than 5 milligrams per cooked cup. That's important if you're also managing blood pressure or caring for your heart. Dr. Neil Barnard, a leading physician and researcher in nutrition and chronic illness, often recommends low GI, low-sodium foods like basmati rice to help reduce the load on your cardiovascular system while supporting glucose stability. If you've been missing rice but worried about the sugar spike, Basmati might be your gentle return to comfort food, without the guilt, without the crash, and with a whole lot of support for your journey forward. How to prepare basmati rice for diabetes management. Now that you know how gentle basmati rice can be on your blood sugar, let's talk about how to prepare it in a way that actually brings out those benefits and doesn't leave you guessing in the kitchen. You don't need to be a chef or follow a complicated recipe. All you need are a few simple steps, a little bit of patience, and some pantry staples to turn basmati rice into a comforting, blood sugar-friendly meal that keeps you full and satisfied. Here's the first and most important tip: soak your basmati rice before cooking. Just 30 minutes in a bowl of cool water is enough. This simple step softens the grains, reduces the cooking time, and most importantly, helps reduce the starch that can cause digestive discomfort or a slight sugar elevation in sensitive bodies. After soaking, give it a quick rinse under cold water, and your rice is ready for the pot. To cook, use 1 pot rice to 1.5 pots water. So if you're cooking 1 cup of dry basmati rice, add 1.5 cups of water. Bring it to a boil, then turn the heat to low, cover it, and let it simmer for about 12 to 15 minutes. Don't stir it too much, just let it steam gently until the water is absorbed and the rice is light, fluffy, and fragrant. Let it rest with the lid on for another 5 minutes before fluffing with a fork. Now comes the best part: turning your rice into a balanced, diabetes-friendly meal that won't spike your sugar and won't leave you hungry 2 hours later. My favorite way, and one that many older adults love, is pairing basmati rice with lentils and roasted vegetables. Lentils are rich in plant protein and soluble fiber, both of which slow digestion and help you stay full longer. Roasted veggies like carrots, cauliflower, zucchini, and red bell peppers bring natural sweetness, fiber, and color to the plate without any added sugar. You can roast your veggies in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, about 200 degrees Celsius, for about 25 minutes with just a little olive oil and a pinch of salt and pepper. While they roast, simmer lentils in a separate pot with garlic, onion, turmeric, and cumin, classic Indian spices that not only smell incredible but also help reduce inflammation and support digestion. Once everything's ready, build your bowl: a scoop of warm basmati rice, a generous spoon of seasoned lentils, a handful of roasted veggies, and maybe a little chopped cilantro or a squeeze of lemon on top. The result? A plate full of texture, warmth, and flavor that's deeply satisfying and incredibly kind to your blood sugar. And here's what so many people over 50 have told me after trying this meal: they feel lighter after eating, with no bloating, no pressure in the stomach, and no nap attack an hour later. It's filling but not heavy. It's energizing but not spiking. It gives you that deep comforting feeling that you ate something real, something that's actually helping your body, not working against it. You can batch cook the rice and lentils at the beginning of the week, store them in the fridge, and heat them up in minutes for quick, healthy lunches or dinners. This routine makes eating well feel easy, even on days when energy is low or your joints aren't cooperating. And when you taste how satisfying this meal is and how well your body responds, you might find yourself making it again and again. Because when food feels good and does good, that's when it becomes more than a meal, it becomes care. And you deserve that every single day. If any of these tips made you smile, feel hopeful, or think of someone you love, go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Let's keep walking this journey together. Because here's the truth: managing diabetes after 50 doesn't mean giving up comfort, flavor, or joy at the table. It just means choosing smarter. And wild rice, brown rice, and basmati rice, these aren't trendy health fads. They're time-tested, naturally powerful foods that support your body quietly every day, without forcing you into extreme diets or expensive routines. You've already done the hardest part. You're here, learning, showing up for your health. That matters. And every time you make a small change, like swapping white rice for a slower digesting grain, you're telling your body, "I'm listening, I care." Over time, those small moments become real results: steadier energy, easier mornings, more peace around meals, and a lot less fear with every bite. Don't let anyone tell you that food has to be complicated or that your best days are behind you. You deserve meals that make you feel strong, focused, and comfortable. And you deserve to know which ingredients will help you get there without sacrificing everything you love. So, try one rice, try all three. Add them to meals you already enjoy and see how your body responds. You might be surprised at how quickly you feel the difference. And don't keep this to yourself. Someone else out there needs this message too. Share it, comment on it, be the reason someone else finally feels ready to try again. Because we're not aiming for perfect, we're aiming for better. And that starts right here, on your plate.